Blog Talk Radio.
Good morning. It's Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter. It is Monday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, and that means no BS Job Search Advice Radio. This is my last show for 2012, and I'm going to try and cover a lot of material, but just from the standpoint of what I try to do on this show, I try to help people make job hunting a lot easier than they tend to experience it. See, for most people, job hunting is very hard and very painful, and they don't really get results, and they get very frustrated. They think that doing their job well is as much as they need to do in order to find work. And frankly, there's a different skill in finding work than there is in actually performing your job. And that's where this show comes in, to try and help you experience job hunting in a way that's a lot less painful, maybe even a little bit more fun and interesting, certainly more interesting than most job hunters engage in. Now, today's show is brought to you by consultingassignments.com. Consultingassignments.com is a site where you can find and fill consulting assignments, full-time consulting positions, temp to perm, contract to hire jobs anywhere in the world completely free. Posting your job or posting your resume is free. Searching jobs, searching resumes is also free, as is the ability to contact one another. There's just no cost in using this site. The only fee that might exist, and it's completely optional, is if you decide to feature your job or feature your resume. And then it's $10 for 30 days. And if you're posting multiple positions, it's even less than that. So that's consultingassignments.com. Now, most of the time when people are looking for work, what they try to do is respond to job leads. They see things posted on job boards or in a newspaper. They get on LinkedIn, and what they try to do is network with lots of different people, make connection requests, and do nothing beyond that. Maybe they write a great profile for themselves in the hopes of being found. And that's about as much as most people do in finding work. Today I want to talk with you about the notion of targeting a firm and trying to penetrate an organization that you want to work for. Now, this obviously requires that you have skills and experience that is useful to that firm. But the notion of targeting a firm is one where, frankly, you get access to opportunities ahead of potential competition. See, by the time something gets on the job board or gets into a newspaper where a firm is advertising to fill something, well, first of all, they've gone through the internal people. Then they're opening it up to the universe and hoping someone will land in their lap, and you're competing with lots of people. And if your resume isn't on their desk fairly early, what happens is your resume is first of all, you're competing with a lot of different people, but your resume is also initially being screened by someone who's probably the most junior person in human resources. You're winding up inputting your resume into an applicant tracking system where it's being screened by someone. Like I said, the least experienced person in HR, the one that may be least equipped to recognize someone who's capable, because the veteran people are too busy doing what they do, which is interviewing people, meeting with managers, trying to identify talent, extending offers, networking, a host of other things in order to fill requirements. So the result is, if you're responding to job listings, you're competing with lots of different people, and that's a tough road. But often by targeting an organization, because you believe you have an experience that relates to what they use, you wind up in roles where you're competing with no one. You're getting in front of hiring managers who may have a problem employee that they want to replace, or who know that their budget is one that frankly, this is really the ideal time of year for it. their budget is going to be opening up a new rec in January or February. They may need a consultant in January or February or a temp during that time. Any number of ways they may be trying to take someone on, and they're not ready to open it up to people yet. Or they may be in the stage where they're looking at an internal candidate and, officially they can't go to the outside, but they could certainly do an informational meeting with you with an eye toward getting acquainted with you and your experience that relates to what they're looking for. So targeting employers is really a great avenue, especially at this time of year where people are a little bit slower because of the holidays. They're a little bit more congenial because of the holidays. And as a result, you have an opportunity to connect with people a little bit more readily than others do. So try reaching out to organizations that fit. Now, I'm not going to make you believe that you should give up any other approach to finding work to just do this. By all means, continue to respond to job listings. Keep tweaking your resume when you submit it for things. Make sure your profile on LinkedIn is keyword rich for the kind of work that you really do and doesn't cause people to contact you unnecessarily on skills that are really like 6th or 7th rated skills in your repertoire. Think in terms of what the audience is going to need to see to want to hire you. And that's really what you should be doing with your LinkedIn profile. Again, the idea is, as a third avenue for approach, what you want to be doing is try to network into organizations using some of your LinkedIn contacts, for example, or memberships in online groups in order to connect with people who are in roles where they may be in a position to hire someone like you. And the call to them, and I do suggest a phone call rather than an email, the call to them can just simply say, hi, this is what I do. Don't know if you have a need for someone right now, but I believe I can really help an organization like yours, and you do that based upon research that you might have done for what they do. So, for example, if you're in IT, you might know that they use particular technology and that you might be a valuable contributor. And Lord knows these days, IT is probably the biggest boom area in the job market. So you try and network into an organization based upon your skills and try to get to the specific hiring manager that might be associated with what you do. And you might just simply say, look, I don't know if you're trying to hire someone right now. If not, that's okay. But I'd love to meet with you and get acquainted with you and the kind of work that you're doing because there might be something that will open up because people do change jobs. And if that's the case, I want to be in a position where I'm in your mind. You'd want to reach back to me. So could we get together next week and talk about what you're doing in your group? Maybe you might want to introduce me to someone. But regardless, let's get together at some point and just chat. They may say, no, not really a good time, and then you try someone else from your LinkedIn connections. Again, the idea is to put yourself in front of people who are in a position where they hire. And they hire people with the kind of skills that you are engaged in. Because, again, you want to open up another avenue toward an organization wanting to hire you beyond simply job boards, beyond simply posting your resume on job boards or responding to listings or connecting with people on LinkedIn and hoping they actually refer you to someone. Okay? So that's my idea of stuff to do. I want to also talk with you about some of the new jobs I'm recruiting for. Now, first of all, I have an architect's role in Seattle, Washington. It's an SSRS architect based in Seattle. I know my client will contribute toward relocation, and they'll also do visa transfers. They want a strong BI consultant who can create quick prototypes, a background with Microsoft Business Intelligence, like I said, SSAS and SSRS, Cognos or any other BI tool. Broadcasting domain experience is a big plus. Again, 145 to 155 on a base plus bonus. Then I have a role for a program manager in Portland, Oregon, a Salesforce.com program manager. At least 10 years of experience in IT, consulting background is preferred, and ability and willingness to relocate to Portland, because this is long-term work. They don't want to do fly-in, fly-out. Experience with Salesforce.com configuration, with Force.com custom implementation projects, agile methodologies. They're pretty open in terms of compensation. If your background is in Salesforce.com program management, forward your resume and mention your current comp, and leave it to me from there. In Westport, Connecticut, a QA team lead, going to about 125 on a base. At least 5 years of experience working on large global systems. Energy industry experience is required, going to about 125 on a base. Oh yes, you also need test director, automation tools, and experience with different operating systems. A transition program director role that can be based anywhere in the U.S. And this is for someone who does infrastructure transitions, not applications ones. So broad experience with infrastructure technologies like data center transitions, end-user computing, network and security, who comes from an outsourcer when you do transitions. You've done at least three of them, $100 million size things, not the little tiny ones. They will take someone from industry, but think in terms of multiple transitions. Figure 160, 170 on a base plus bonus. A consulting assignment in New York, going $850 per day, corp to corp. Comp sci background, expert in Java with a few years of background, experience with Clojure, Scala, F#, Haskell, or Erlang is a big plus to them. If you've got some curiosity, they're looking for someone not just simply who's a doer, but someone who has the capacity to think. You use Eclipse or Visual Studio, but you also like stuff like Vim or Emacs. You're well-spoken and can work with different strata of people within an organization. Up to $850 per day, corp to corp. A .NET web developer going to about 115, strong C#, ASP.NET and MVC background, experience with ORM frameworks and Hibernate, experience with source control and such, going to about 115. That's in Fort Lee, New Jersey. So if you're qualified, interested, and available in any of these positions, please email your resume to me at thebiggamehunter@cisny.com. If you know someone who might fit one of these roles better than you, by all means ask them to forward a resume and mention your name. There are a lot more jobs available at jeffaltman.com, so come over to the website and search the listings there. And if you still don't find anything that fits your background, by all means, I'm happy to receive a resume. I just ask as a courtesy, put the phrase on spec in the subject line. This way I know I can look at it at my convenience. While you're at the website, sign up for a complimentary subscription to No BS Job Search Advice e-zine. I publish it on Tuesdays with advice for job hunters. It's frankly real good, and it complements what I do on the radio show. At the site, you can read some of the previous articles I've written for it. I'm sure they'll be helpful to you. There's also places that you can post your resume, more than 50 of them at last count. There's also easy to work with career builder links that you can use. You can use the meta search engine, Indeed. You can use Job Search Universe and search thousands of sites concurrently for job leads and apply to them. There's information about my books and jobs, guides for job hunters. There's also connections with books on Amazon that I think that would be helpful. So come over to my website and search over there because I know it'll be helpful. Now, as I mentioned earlier, This is my last show for 2012. I'll be back the first full week of January 2013. Before I sign off, I just want to share my condolences for the people that have lost children in Connecticut. Terrible what happened there. Absolutely terrible. I hope you can take a moment to say a prayer for those people. This is Jeff Altman. I'll be back in January with No BS Job Search Advice Radio. Hope you have a great weekend. Happy holidays to all of you. Take care.